You're watching Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. Harrison Graham here, as always, for today's show. And on today's show, we're going to do 53-man roster projection 2.0. We did our first one a couple of months ago after the NFL draft. Wanted to launch another one here now that training camp is officially here. Veterans reported on Tuesday in the first practice, obviously on Wednesday with the first public practice on Thursday. So with training camp kind of getting underway here, wanted to take another stab at a 53-man roster projection. A couple of different changes on this one compared to the last one, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace will have to make some tough decisions. Quarterbacks, 3 will make the roster. Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, and Nick Foles are going to be your 3 guys because you can't cut Foles. You cut Foles, you lose money. You trade him, you save money. So if they don't find a trade partner, and as I'm filming this, they have not traded Nick Foles, you have to have him on the 53-man roster because cutting him to lose cap space doesn't help you because that's just a bad idea. You want to roll over that cap next year, or you want to have that cap to sign a player if you need to do that. So you're stuck with Nick Foles unless you can trade him, at least for this year. So I've got 3 quarterbacks making the roster as of now. Obviously, it's the 3 you got, Dalton, Foles, and Fields. Who will start more games this year? Type AD for Andy Dalton, type JF for Justin Fields. Let's hear it from you guys down in the comment section. Who will start more games in Chicago in 2021? Next up is running back. We'll go offense to defense here. I got 4 backs making the roster. David Montgomery, Damien Williams, Tarik Cohen, and Khalil Herbert will be your 4 backs in my opinion. Artavis Pierce, Ryan Nall, CJ Maribel, they all get cut. Like Maribel, I think he could be a practice squad type of guy. I think he's got some upside, the UDFA out of Coastal Carolina, but I just don't think there's room after those initial 4 guys, and I do think Herbert will make the roster. I guess maybe Damien Williams could be a surprise cut candidate, but I don't think that's going to be the case, especially with Tarik Cohen coming off of injury. He, of course, is currently on the PUP list for the Bears, so we'll monitor that situation. Ryan Pace didn't seem too concerned when he spoke about Cohen on Tuesday, but they're going to ease him through training camp, ease him in the preseason. I think he'll be ready by week 1, but I think Chicago overall will carry 4 running backs: Montgomery, Williams, Cohen, and Khalil Herbert. All right, Bears fans, help us reach 30,000 subscribers. The big milestone is coming up. We're less than 800 away, currently at 29,237 subs. Let's get to 30K before the first preseason game. Hit that big red button and subscribe. It's 100% free. We'll have full training camp coverage just for you guys. We go to wide receiver now. I got the Bears keeping 6. Most teams keep 5 or 6. Occasionally you'll see a team keep 7. I'm going to go 6 here for Chicago. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, they're locks. We all know that. I think Damiere Byrd is pretty safe at this point. Marquise Goodwin, I've got him making it. Dazz Newsome. And then I'm going to go Riley Ridley is my number 6 receiver. I think with Anthony Miller getting traded, there's opportunities for guys like Riley Ridley and Javon Wims now. Wims has flashed upside, but I can't get that drop out of my head in the playoffs against the Saints last year. I can't get that punch of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out of my head. He's immature. He just has made too many mistakes. He's had his opportunities. I feel like he's gotten a more fair shake than Riley Ridley, so I leaned with Ridley as the last receiver, but this is their last chance for both these guys. Like, they don't show out this training camp this preseason, sayonara. I don't think there's going to be a role for these guys moving forward in Chicago. Pick one to keep. Type RR for Riley Ridley. Type JW for Javon Wims. I don't see a situation where both make the roster. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they ball out in camp. We'll see. But they've had multiple opportunities now. So if you had to keep one, let us know who it would be. Would it be Riley Ridley or would it be Javon Wims? We go tight end now, and I'm actually going to only go with 3 here. I went 4 last time. The Bears carried 4 last year. I'm going to go 3. Cole Kmet, Jimmy Graham, Jesse James. I think Jesse James was brought in here to be that number 3 tight end. He's an upgrade from Demetrius Harris, who you had last year. J.P. Holtz has a chance. If Jake Butt has a strong camp, he has a chance as well. But I think the James signing was a signal of they wanted a reliable tight end in the mix here, which is what he is. He makes this team. I don't see a situation where Jesse James is not on this roster. He's been a reliable guy for a few years now, going back to Pittsburgh, and of course the last couple of years in Detroit. He can block. The Bears want to run the football, so he helps you there. He's decent catching the ball as well. Then obviously I don't think they're going to cut Jimmy Graham. That's been the talk all offseason. Well, you could save $7 million. What indication have the Bears given us that they're going to cut him? None. Like, I don't think it's going to happen unless he gets into training camp and just looks like he's fallen off a cliff, which last year people thought he was washed, and he had 8 touchdowns. So he can still bring a decent amount to the table. So I got the Bears carrying 3 tight ends this year. Cole Kmet, Jimmy Graham, Jesse James will be your tight ends. Let's go to offensive line now. I'm going to go 9 guys. I think it's the same 9 that we had last time around. A couple of these depth guys could move around. Maybe you go with Chavius Simmons instead of Arlington Hambright, but we'll have to wait and see. You got the starting 5, which I think on paper is that right now with Jenkins and Ifedi as your 2 tackles. We'll see how that shakes out. Elijah Wilkinson, I think, makes this team. Matt Nagy pointed him out specifically today as a guy that if Tevin Jenkins isn't ready at left tackle, you could put him in there. Alex Bars showed value last year. I think he makes the team. Larry Borum certainly makes this team, the rookie out of Missouri. So I'm going to go with these 9 guys. I think this is your offensive line depth chart for now, and obviously we'll wait and see how a couple of things shake out. That being said, I'd feel better if the Bears signed a veteran offensive tackle. I really would. We know they tried to get Morgan Moses. He didn't want to play left tackle, which is what the Bears wanted to sign him for, so he signed with the Jets. It would have been nice if they got him or Rick Wagner or one of these other guys. We'll see if they decide to add someone late. Maybe if one of the, if Jenkins or Ifedi struggles in training camp, they will look into doing that. But as of now, we can only go off what we know, and I decided to go with those 9 guys. Should the Bears sign a veteran offensive tackle, type Y for yes, type N for no? Let us know what you guys think in the comments. I'd like to see it, but as of now, it doesn't appear that is going to happen. All right, defensive line depth chart. I've got these 6 guys. I've also got Mike Pennell making the team as well as the 7th offensive lineman. That being said, Mario Edwards won't count on the initial 53-man roster because he has a 2-game suspension to start the year. So this is almost a 54-man roster projection video because he won't be on the initial 53-man. And then in week 3, the Bears will have to cut somebody because they paid Mario Edwards to be on this team. He will not be cut. So he won't make the initial 53-man. Maybe you cut Mike Pennell, Kyrus Tonga at that point. We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. But for now, I've got these 7 guys, again, with Edwards not counting on the initial roster. Make sure you guys get subscribed to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel because the NBA draft is almost here. Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. Join us, myself, Chase Sr., the entire Chat Sports production team. We're ready to rock and roll for every single pick, including the Bulls' second-round pick, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Find out who goes number 1. Draft starts at 8. We'll be live at 7. Subscribe. Join us. We'll see you then. Let's keep it rolling here. Linebacker, I'm going 9 again. I think this is the same group I had last year. Robert Quinn, Khalil Mack off the edge. Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan. Those are your starters. Jeremiah Tachu, Travis Gibson. I also have Charles Snowden. I like his upside. I think he makes this team. But then you've got Christian Jones and Iggy, your backup interior linebackers. But Snowden's on the bubble here. He's obviously got to have a strong camp, but I thought he was a guy that should have been drafted out of Virginia, productive player in college. He's pretty bendy at 6'7", 240. I think there's real upside there. So I've got him making this team. He could be the guy that gets cut too once Mario Edwards comes back. So keep that in mind as well. But I've got him making the team for now. I certainly want to monitor him during training camp. Who will lead the Bears in sacks? We just showed you guys the defensive line and the linebackers. Obviously, Khalil Mack's the favorite to do so, but who knows? Maybe Akeem Hicks, Robert Quinn have big years. Who will lead Chicago in sacks this year? I'm going to go with not Akeem Hicks. I'm going to go with Khalil Mack. I think he has double-digit sacks here in 2021. A couple more positions here. Cornerback, I'm going to go with 6 making the final 53-man roster. Jalen Johnson, Desmond Trufant, Duke Shelley, Kendall Vilder, Artie Burns, and Thomas Graham Jr. I think Burns is on the bubble. I thought last year he had a chance to come in here and show this coaching staff something. Then he tore his ACL. So, we'll see how he bounces back this year. I think if one of these guys doesn't make it, it's probably going to be him. But I think he's got a shot. I think they'll give him an opportunity to compete for some playing time. Who will be CB2? Type DT for Desmond Trufant, type KV for Kendall Vildor. I think I would like to see Vildor win this job because that would show good signs from a young player, but Trufant will probably get the first crack at it. Get your votes in, DT or KV. And then safety here. I'm only going to go 4 this time. I cut Jordan Lucas, who's a strong special teams player, but I went heavy at a couple of other spots. So going to go 4 here. Eddie Jackson, Tashawn Gibson, Deion Bush will be your kind of number 3 safety, good special teams player. And then DeAndre Houston Carson is a good specialist as well. I think he's your 4th safety. Maybe Jordan Lucas makes the team for either DHC or as your 5th safety. That'll obviously be one of those tricky spots that Pace and Nagy have to work through. Going to go a little lighter at safety, though, with these 4. Then we get to the special teams. The specialists, simple. Cairo Santos, Pat O'Donnell, and Patrick Scales, your kicker, punter, and long snapper. That rounds out your 53-man roster projection. As we get into training camp here, we'll certainly do at least one more of these before roster cuts have to be made. So grade my latest 53-man projection, A, B, C, D, or F. Go back to school. If you loved what I did, give it an A. If you liked it, give it a B. If you thought it was average, C. Didn't like it, D. Or if you hated it, give me an F grade. Go ahead and grade my latest 53-man roster projection.